Foundation event, Thiel said, quote, "I do wonder whether if at this point Bitcoin should also be thought of in part as a Chinese financial weapon against the U.S. It threatens fiat money, but it especially threatens the dollar." He says he's not against cryptos, but that the government should take a closer look at why China is long Bitcoin. Bitcoin higher again today, up nearly 700% in the past year. Michael, explain this to me. How would China use Bitcoin as a weapon to weaken the dollar?
Well, I think, the general premise here is that Bitcoin's ascendance does come at the expense of the dollar's role as the world reserve currency. So if, in fact, China had some kind of participation in that trend where the U.S. dollar is not as central to the world financial system and economy as it was before, and meantime, if, in fact, official Chinese authorities are owning Bitcoin and benefiting from its appreciation, it could, tilt the financial balance of power, I suppose. It is interesting here because, of course, Thiel is very much an advocate for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin as well. He's more or less pointing out that this becomes a little bit disorderly in terms of a power relationship thing if the ultimate destiny of Bitcoin that the true believers see out there for it as sort of overtaking to some degree existing currencies, would have other unintended consequences.
So Deirdre, you spend a lot of time in these circles and know a lot about this, so you're going to have to educate me. I get that Bitcoin is an asset that can go up and down, but does that very fact make it less likely to be a store of value or a currency that can be used in exchange to buy and sell things?
I think the idea of it as a store of value is building, even though it is volatile. You've seen this massive run-up. But Tyler, I do spend time in technology, but I also spent a lot of time living in China, and I know that it's very hard to argue that China is long Bitcoin. In fact, China sees the cryptocurrency as a bigger threat to the Communist Party, I think, more than it's worrying about it as a threat to the U.S. dollar. What they are interested in is the technology behind Bitcoin, blockchain. You had earlier this week China coming out saying it's going to be launching its own digital yuan. That may be where the real threat is. China is moving quickly on this technology. It has talked about a digital dollar, but there's been no action, and maybe for good reason. There needs to be very thoughtful and planned out. But I think that is where the real threat is. And if the Chinese get their massive population to use a digital yuan, that could lead to more usage of Bitcoin. And to Mike's point, that could eventually sort of take over the U.S. dollar.
All right.